Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is part 3 of this Grail unboxing. It's going to be some pretty awesome books, all Golden Age. It's focused on Golden Age this week because, or this time, because last time I kind of showed sexy girl covers, and I figured I really have to bring it back to the Golden Age because that's really my bread and butter, and that's where I like to show you some cool books. And I have some really cool ones, some ones that, or even for the Golden Age, are kind of under the radar. And I'll get into that. And I'll show you some really cool stuff that you might not even heard of before. So this first one is one that actually I ordered, but they sent me the wrong comic. And so I was like, oh, you sent me the wrong comic. So they said, oh, keep the wrong comic. We'll send you another one. And they sent me the right one. So this is Crime Does Not Pay, number 107. It's a Charles Biro cover. I just thought it was a cool cover. These Crime Does Not Pay comics, or if you're ever looking for affordable Golden Age comics, the later issues within this title are very affordable. And they feature Charles Biro art. Most of the covers are by Charles Biro, and they're really, really great. I thought this one was especially cool because you got they're shooting at these guys. It's like a firing squad kind of situation, maybe mafia. They're gonna kill off all these guys, but they're shooting around them and kind of scaring them. It's really cool. So I just thought it was a really interesting cover. Sort of mafia-like one. So that's Crime Does Not Pay 107. And then this next series is interesting. So I mentioned the artist Alex Schomburg quite often on this channel because I really do enjoy his artwork. What most people don't realize is Alex Schomburg was not the only Schomburg that produced art. His brother was also a very talented artist, and he would do things a little differently than Alex would. So Alex's art style is kind of defined by very realistic but cartoony art. So it's very, like he'll like show all the little rivets. He'll show like lots of fine details, but there's sort of a cartoony element to Alex's work. Well, his brother is August Schamberg, and August Schamberg's art is very different than that. It's more on the details, but more correct, not so cartoony. So here's an example of an August Schomburg cover, and these were very affordable. So August Schomburg's art is not particularly expensive, and these are pulp magazines, so generally they're cheap too. So I picked up a whole collection for, I think it was like $15, a whole collection of August Schomburg covers. And I just thought this one was really cool. You got the Nazi tail wing getting shot up, and it's just a really great dogfight. And this is a magazine series called Flying Aces. And it was a very interesting series because inside, they would even have like these model planes that you could cut out and build. And they'd have articles all about planes and stuff like that. And they'd have like these little illustrations and stuff. So just a very interesting magazine. So I got that one. And these are all from the, obviously during the wartime. Like these are from doesn't say, of course. Oh, March of 1940. So this is another one, another August Schomburg cover. I just think they're, if you like World War II and you like planes, this is kind of the perfect magazine for you because you get brilliant art and you get this really cool magazine. So that's the next one. And again, I tried to pick, like, it was a collection that I bought. As I said, it was $15. It wasn't expensive. But I tried to pick a collection that had like these sort of iconic World War II images. And what I mean by that is like you get the little airplanes with the swastikas on them. I think even though it's not super expensive, those could go for a little bit more. I'm not sure. This one is another August Schomburg. You can see his name at the very bottom there. August Schomburg. They're all August Schomburg covers. Now, Alex Schomburg, he also did some of the covers for Flying Aces. And his go for a bit more. It's a bit unfair, but the brother gets a little bit more love. So Alex Schomburg's art is a little bit more expensive. But I still think August is a great artist. I mean, the details are actually quite good, and his perspectives are very strong. He just doesn't have that cartoony style that Alex does. And then we got one more. This is another one of these Flying Aces. When is this one from? This one is from May of 1940. And this is interesting because this is pre-U.S. entering the war. So it's interesting that they would show these battles between not the Americans, but the British and the Germans. Very interesting. Obviously, this one looks like a U.S. Army plane, but it's very interesting. So yeah, so that's Alex Schomburg's brother, some of his magazines. Also, I thought there was some really cool, another cool title that I kind of just recently discovered, and you'll see it more in this unboxing, is a title called Heroic. I wasn't familiar with this title. I actually thought the covers were really interesting. And I'll show you what I mean by that. It's H.C. Keffer covers. And basically, I just thought they were these kind of painted covers, but just interesting scenes. Like, you got this little girl. I just thought this was interesting. You got this little girl, and you got the train coming, and the boys like trying to run in to potentially save her. So it's, obviously it's a title based on people who did heroic things, risked their lives for others. And I just think it's kind of interesting. These are very inexpensive. So if you want to find affordable golden age books, I'm in a weird way showing you right here. This book, $10. And you can get it even cheaper than that. I wanted a really reasonably nice presenting copy. $10 though. And, it's kind of cool. It's a painted cover, cool train, little girl, guy gonna rescue her. It's kind of fun stuff. This next book, not so cheap. And it's actually one that I'm trying to get the complete run of. I'm only missing like 1 or 2 issues, actually. It's Land of the Lost. And it's just one where they go on undersea adventures and stuff like that. It's just kind of fun and magical. So, Land of the Lost Comics. This was actually produced by EC. When EC first started out, it stood for Educational Comics. It wasn't about horror or anything like that. They were more into the educational things, where they would have these kind of things for kids, and they would have stories from the Bible and like just educational comics. When the father died and the son took over, the son really didn't know anything about comics. So William Gaines was like a bit lost in terms of how to run this comic book company. And he really looked to the artists to give him guidance. And they said, let's stop with the educational stuff because it wasn't selling. Let's move into horror and crime and what was popular at the time. And as a result, they became very successful. But before all that, there was Land of the Lost. And you got Land of the Lost number 4. It's just a cool, fun cover. So yeah, another title. It seems like I say this a lot, but another title that I'm collecting. You'll hear that. If it was a drinking game, you'd be probably dead by now. Another title that I am collecting, though, is Secret Romances. And this is just another fun title. I just think these are really cool. This is from Superior Comics, which is a Canadian publisher. And they produce these kind of romance, but secret romances kind of book. And it's just really fun stuff. I like the Good Girl art covers. So, and these are quite hard to find, actually. It's one of those titles where, you can find certain issues easy, but most are actually, a little bit challenging. So getting a run of this is going to be a bit of a hassle, but I'm going to try to do it. I got about 6 or 7 issues so far. And this is issue number 10. So, okay, this next book is an interesting one. Another one that I picked up cheap. One of the things that I like is I like collecting the sort of the artists that I like Alex Schomburg I mentioned. Well, another artist that I really do enjoy is Matt Baker. And Matt Baker, he did covers and he did interiors for a lot of romance books. And his interiors are actually very, very good. Very at the same level to his covers. And in a way, his interiors are kind of underrated because they're not cover pieces. So I try to find ways to, pick up really cool art from these artists that I like and at an affordable price. So buying interior, like covers, comics that have interiors of these talented artists is kind of a way of doing that. And this is actually not a bad cover. I'm not sure who did the cover, but this has got Matt Baker art inside. This is Bride Romances number 20. And I'm not sure if this is actually, I don't think it's a Matt Baker cover, but it's just a cool book. Bride Romances number 20 has Matt Baker art inside. So, yeah. They always have this situation. Actually, this one is a little bit different than the way that it normally is. Usually, with a lot of these ones, it's like a threesome, like the guy and then there's 2 girls kind of fighting over him. Well, this one, it looks like this girl's pining over the guy, and he's got like a lot of girls going after him. And she's like, what is she saying? Oh, Eddie, can't you see it's your uniform, not you they're going for? Sobs. I love you for what you are. I always will. Yeah. So makes you want to buy a uniform. Okay, so just a cool one. Bride Romances number 20. Okay, now I was just speaking about Matt Baker. That's the exterior Matt Baker. And the next 2 books actually I picked up from Alex the Comic Hoarder. He was going after a really big book and he needed to raise some money. And he decided to let go of some pretty major books from his collection so that he could go after another book that he really wanted. And the one that he was going after is this one right here. He wanted to get his own copy of Sun Girl number 1. And so he asked if I'd be interested in a few of his comics. And I said, sure. And he gave me a great deal. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. The first one is a Matt Baker cover. And it's just a really great one. This is Wartime Romances. And it's kind of like a caboose cover instead of headlight cover, but just a really great Matt Baker cover. Now, it's a low grade. You can see the spine is pretty rough, but it is definitely a very cool cover. This is that very Matt Bakery style cover. I always find that one thing that a lot of people don't notice about Matt Baker, and I really like to point it out, is he always has action in the foreground and in the background. So it's not like just one story where you see something in the front and very little activity in the back. This one has like stuff happening here, and you can see like there's, somebody, he's carrying a bag in here. Like there's things happening. It's not just a static scene. It's like there's action happening. And you can even see like the way that she's pulling him into her. You can feel like that sense of her grabbing him towards her. That sense of motion. Even though it's a still image, it's got a sense of motion to it. And that's kind of the brilliance of Matt Baker's art. So I really do enjoy picking up as many of his covers as possible, but when they're affordable, which is not very often. So this is Wartime Romances. I forgot what issue number it is. I wish they would say. This is from St. John. and it's number 16. Wartime Romances number 16. Now, this next book is one that's been on my want list for a long time. It's a major Alex Schomburg cover, and it's one that has eluded me for whatever reason. It's just either too expensive or somebody else is bidding on it, and I never seem to win it. But it's one that I really, really like because it's got that airbrush plus sharks. I like sharks. So we got Startling Comics number 52. And it's just a really great, look at that. I mean, just, it's such a great cover. You got the, the girl is inside this bubble. And, she's got, dressed appropriately for, if you're going to be in a bubble, you're going to go up against a shark, you got to be dressed appropriately. You got the shark coming in, this like saw shark or something like that. It's got blood coming out. Like, I guess the guy just shot it and it's like bleeding. It's really quite cool. So yeah. Now, Startling 52 is part of that run that Alex Schamberg did on Startling. That started with, like, you got, well, it didn't start with 49, but the most famous or the most iconic is number 49. But there was a whole run through there, like from the 40s, issues 40s up, where it's all Alex Schomburg covers, these airbrush covers that are just phenomenal. And this is one of the ones that I really, really liked. Now, there were a few others that I'm hoping to get at some point, but I was quite happy to get this one for my collection. So, Startling Comics number 52. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this return to the Golden Age. The next part, we're going to be going back into the modern, but with some surprises. So stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Bye for now.